Hello everybody, Mannix here. Going to be doing a knife review on the Cold Steel Raja 2. Whoops, this is a sweet, sweet giant knife. As you can tell, it barely fits in the frame, but it's huge. This is a huge, huge knife, and it's really awesome. If you like big blades, if you like kukri style knives, and you like folding knives, this is the knife for you. So let's get on with these specs. So it retails at $184.99, which is expensive. However, you're going to spend closer to around $90 to maybe about $100, depending on where you go. And for that money, you can't really beat it. You get a lot for your money. So it's not super cheap, but because you're getting so much steel here, such a strong locking mechanism, I mean, the construction of it, the materials alone, it's expensive, the amount of materials that are put into it. Weighs 13.4 ounces, 4.8 millimeter blade thickness. Blade length is 6 inches, handle length is 8 inches, so our overall length, if we do a little bit of math, is 14 inches. It is Carpenter CTS BD1 steel. We have a stonewash finish on here. By the way, it's August 2018 as I'm filming this. Cold Steel does a lot of revamps with their knives. A few years ago, this used to be AUS 8 and it was bead blasted, but now the design's slightly different now. Well, it's an improvement, I feel like. The CTS BD1 steel, that's also a huge improvement. Stonewash finish, I think, is more beautiful than bead blast, and it's one of the smoothest finishes you can get, so it helps aid in rust resistance, which is great too. Triad lock, super strong. Almost feels like skateboard tape. It's what they call Grivex. It's basically just their brand of FRN. Extremely strong stuff. We have flush-mounted stainless steel liners in there, so it adds to the weight. It's heavy. Again, almost 14 ounces. But yeah, I like the design they have on the handles here. It's like skateboard tape, it feels like. Really grippy. I love it. Very comfortable. We have four main grips actually, so you can scooch all the way down here. There's a cutout for your pinky. And your thumb, even though your thumbs are there, you're not going to close it very easily in that position. You can scooch up here if you want in the middle. You get your index finger up here. And then we even have a little cutout right there. You can scooch up here for precision cutting if for some reason you're going to try to cut precisely with this huge knife right here, doing little cuts. But you certainly have the option to do that. So long handle, a lot to hold on to. You can actually almost hold on two hands. It's a long handle. It's a long knife. This will outreach a lot of fixed blades. It's huge. It's enormous. This is a huge, huge knife. Okay, there we go. That's where I should have had the camera zoomed out. Super strong. No blade play. Oh my gosh, it's so strong. And it's smooth too. We have a thumb plate right here, which is easy to get to. I don't usually like the thumb plates, I usually just prefer a stud or something, but these are also waveable off of your pocket. So you can watch a video on it or something, but basically you just, as you're pulling this out of your pocket, this can snag against it if you angle it right, and then it opens it up as you are taking the knife out, as you are deploying it. That's pretty crazy. Long pocket clip right here. I'm glad they went with a longer pocket clip, not one of their stubby ones, on this knife anyway. You have a lot's poking out of your knife, but again, think about how deep your pockets actually are. If it were higher, a lot of people would not be able to fit it in their pockets. But the other thing is, it's a lot more to grip onto. It's easy to get to such a huge knife, because who wants a knife that's this big and you have to hold on to like this, and then I don't know. See, I like having something to grip onto, and for this knife in particular, that was an A+ choice to put the pocket clip more in the middle, more centered along the handle. So it's very easy to get to, very easy to deploy. There are a lot of jimps, if you will, cutouts on the thumb plate right here. Stonewash finish is beautiful. CTS BD1 stainless steel. It's kind of a middle grade. It's better than their the AUS 8 they used to be using. So it's a bit harder. It'll retain its edge a little bit longer. It's a pretty good steel. I would say it's on par with. It's better than 440C. It's better than HCR13 MOV. I mean, usually when I say a blade steel is better, I mean the popular think on knife videos, generally speaking, the popular thought is that this blade steel is better than that one. But everything's kind of a trade-off, actually. I mean, some are more expensive than others, but if a blade has a longer edge holding capability, if it stays sharper for longer edge retention, there's the word, it also will become more difficult to sharpen, and it will become more brittle, so it will chip easier than a blade that does not hold its edge as long. A softer blade will be stronger, generally speaking, for harder work. So if you're doing chopping, stuff like that, you want usually a softer steel so it won't chip as easily. But if you just want edge retention, you want a harder blade steel, but keep in mind, if you're doing harder work with it, if you're chopping a tree down with that blade steel, it's more prone to chipping because it's more brittle. So everything's a give and take. There's no really, like, this steel is just better than all the other blade steels. Generally speaking, that's not really the case. But, again, when you get into, like, the really high-end stuff, yeah, they can They have really good edge retention, and they have, they're strong, but again, you can't get absolutely everything. There's no blade steel that does everything. But anyway, the Kukri blade shape is very good for chopping, slashing. It's good for this style cut. If you're just slice, I think that's called. I think that's a slice. Just opening a package up or something. It's really sweet. Oh man, it's so comfortable. So much to hold on to. I like the thick handles. I like the back spacer there. It's just the cutouts right here for your thumb are not rounded. They're just very crisp cuts. So some people might find that uncomfortable or something. I don't care. But on their Voyagers, they have them rounded. That's pretty sweet. But on this one, they don't. That's okay, though. Who cares? Let's have a nice little appreciative look at this knife. It's just so sweet. So sweet. And not terribly expensive either. You'd expect to pay somewhere around, like, the retail, $160. But for $90 to $100, it's, if you want a big old knife, that's not really, because there's a lot of big old folders you can get out there that are really cheap, but that's the problem. They're really cheap. They just don't perform. This one does. It's extremely strong. It almost has fixed blade strength in its locked open position. It's crazy. Don't take my word on that. I would not, baton with this. I would not do anything you normally would only do with a fixed blade with this knife. However, it's designed to be a pocket kukri, and at that it really does excel. It's so much reacher. Oh my gosh, that's just, it feels really balanced too. Sometimes when you're holding a legit kukri, it's really huge. It feels imbalanced because you have like a little plastic handle and you have that huge blade. I actually kind of like this design a little better. It's, it's less blade efficient, sure. I mean, the blade doesn't go all the way down to here, but because it's lighter there, I don't know, it just feels a lot more balanced. I could use this longer than I could with an actual kukri. And you can carry this around too. 6-inch blade, that's kind of crazy. That's not kind of crazy, that is crazy. That's ridiculous. Little lanyard hole right there. There's some dust in there. Pocket clip, you can swap it to the left side. Actually, not this one in particular. They send you 2 pocket clips, a lefty clip and then the righty clip pre-attached, but you can put the lefty clip on here and screw that in. And if you had the extra screws and you wanted to put 2 pocket clips on here for some reason, be my guest. You can do that too. Completely ambidextrous. We have an ambidextrous locking mechanism, 2 pocket clips it comes with, and then the thumb plate, obviously ambidextrous. So 100% ambidextrous, thank you very much. Just love that lockup. Oh. It's a fondling blade for sure. Now, this brings us to the question that a lot of us have with the bigger knives, is what are you going to be using a big folding knife for? Like, why would you get this knife? First of all, they're sweet. That's a big thing. It's really cool. I don't know. Some people might say, well, why not just get a toy knife or just get like a cheap $20 knife? I mean, if you're not even going to use it and it's just cool. It's one of those things where, wouldn't you rather have a ring with a diamond on it than a ring with just a cubic zirconia on it? I mean, to the naked eye, they look exactly the same pretty much. But why do you want the diamond and it's like 10,000 billion times more expensive than the cubic zirconia? It's because it's just higher value. It's just a thing. I don't know how to describe it, but that's how I see it. You want something that performs and is actually functional, even if you're not going to be using it. However, I have used this when I go fishing. Sometimes there's areas where it gets heavily weeded, there's stuff in the way, and I don't want to be carrying a whole giant kukri on me, so I carry this on me because it fits in my pocket. I have cargo pants, this actually fits pretty well. I just pull it out, I do my chopping and slashing if there's a lot of stuff in the way, and then back in the pocket it goes. So it is a legit carryable, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a mobile kukri. Like, it's a mobile kukri. So for that use, it does perform very well. And in the state of Colorado, where I live, if the blade's anywhere below 3.5 inches, you can conceal carry it. If it's above 3.5 inches, then you have to open carry it. So this knife technically is legal, but cops are not really just taught exact knife laws. They're taught more, if this thing is a threat to me, I am going to take it from them. So even if, I see the pocket clip and the knife's showing, it's open carry. I mean, some people may have a different definition of what open carry is. And you might get some jerk cop that doesn't like you, they don't like your attitude, they just confiscate the knife from you, even if you are following the law anyway. Like, the thing with the giant knives, that's what's weird about them. Even if they are legal and you're allowed to do it, sometimes you're just not allowed to do it anyway, and that's a shame. So if you're doing something bad and you get caught by a cop and you happen to have this knife on you, that's probably going to be bad. It's going to be bad news. You shouldn't be doing anything that you would get in trouble for to begin with, but it's one of those things. Regardless, it's a very sweet knife, and then some people, They do the whole defense thing. Like, this is a great defense knife. Oh yeah, it's not slippery. It's very easy to deploy. It's very scary. You can just scare them off with this, probably. But again, it goes down to the question, like, if you actually did attack someone with this blade, you killed them, or you wounded them, or whatever, and then you go to court, regardless of whether you actually were defending yourself or not, what is the jury going to think? What are they going to think? You're the attacker, and you're actually the evil guy because you have this huge knife on you? Or will they actually think it was legit self-defense? And that's an interesting question. I don't know. Maybe you would be fine with something like this, but from what I've been told and from what a lot of people online speculate, they say once you use this knife to defend yourself, something that's this huge, it looks like it's scary, you're probably not in a good position in court, and you may be the one who goes to jail. I don't actually know. I've never actually read or seen any cases like that. I don't know, but it's something to think about if you want to use this knife for defense. So that's, again, I don't really talk about knives for defense, really. Again, it's one of those things that's really cool. It's a cool option. It's a cool weapon. It can be used as a weapon, and it's designed to be comfortable, to be used as a weapon. Strong locking mechanism, how grippy it is, how it's easy to hold on to, long reach. It's just deploys fast. It's a cool knife to have. I like knives that are just designed to be cool. They're designed to be functional. Like, this could be an awesome choice of weapon if I had to use it. There's a zombie apocalypse, or there's a guy trying to attack you. I don't know what's going on, but it's actually functional. It could actually be used in a situation like that, regardless of those situations actually existing or not. And that's what's pretty sweet about this. So, anyway, that is it. That is the Cold Steel Raja 2, the awesome mobile kukri.